Gigantomachia is a villain associated with the League of Villains. He is one of All For One's faithful servants and is his former bodyguard, cultivated to be of use to Tomura Shigaraki if anything were to happen to him. When the League of Villains merged with the Meta Liberation Army to become the Paranormal Liberation Front, Gigantomachia also became part of the organization. So I'm your host Abz, and in this video I'm going to be explaining the lore and backstory behind Gigantomachia from My Hero Academia. So if you'd like to see more anime explained videos, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more lore related content. Now, Gigantomachia is an enormous individual, about the height of a large tree with a muscle-bound build. His brown hair is spiky and parts of his body appear to be jagged, much like rock. Notably, he also carries a portable radio wherever he goes, sometimes even tying it to a rope and wearing it around his neck. But in public, he tends to wear a hooded cloak. Gigantomachia appears to be a polite person at first, but will quickly become impatient and aggressive towards those that are uncooperative with him. If someone manages to help him out, he will simply leave and avoid a confrontation. He is also a faithful servant to All For One and questions Tomura's worthiness as his successor. His devotion and obedience to All For One is so great that simply hearing a recording of All For One's voice can calm him down from breaking out into a blind rage. Hence the portable radio kept around his neck, so All For One can easily control Gigantomachia. However, once Gigantomachia saw Tomura unlocking his true power and emerge victorious over Redestro, he truly acknowledged him. He even shed a tear of joy at him, standing proud over his defeated foe. Gigantomachia is an incredibly powerful force, serving as All For One's personal bodyguard for years, even before he was modified with multiple quirks. And that shows how much of a force he really is. He was his bodyguard when All For One controlled the world from the shadows, and said loyalty has not waned despite All For One's downfall. For his part, All For One considers Gigantomachia an essential piece for Tomura Shigaraki and the resurgence of the League of Villains. Because of this, All For One hid Gigantomachia in the mountains as a means to help preserve his dreams. However, the same loyalty to All For One that makes Gigantomachia useful also makes him difficult to control for others, and it is noted that a recording of his master's voice can quickly soothe him to the point that he will purr. Now, Dr. Ujiko is in charge of controlling and monitoring Gigantomachia after All For One decided to hide him after foreseeing his inevitable downfall. Ujiko knows that Gigantomachia is extremely loyal to All For One and therefore easily controls him with the recordings of his master's voice on the radio. Ujiko at times refers to Gigantomachia as just Machia, and Ujiko believes that Gigantomachia is useful to Tomura's goals and refuses to lend his full support until Tomura gets Gigantomachia to submit. During a brief encounter with Gran Torino and several police officers, the behemoth forced the veteran hero to retreat while leaving a massive cavity inside of a mountain. Come winter, Gigantomachia was able to take on the combined forces of the League of Villains' 6 remaining members, so Tomura himself, Dabi, Himiko Toga, Spinner, Twice and Mr. Compress, with ease and defeat them repeatedly. Even after battling him non-stop for a month, half of the league made little progress towards defeating Gigantomachia. In Tomura's own terms, Gigantomachia possesses too much HP, in which Gigantomachia abuses to exhaust his opponents into submission. Gigantomachia's body is extremely resilient, being able to manage the incredible strain of holding multiple quirks even without having his body modified, being one of the few people in the world capable of this. Gigantomachia has immense physical strength, easily cracking the side of a concrete building with his grip alone. During his confrontation with Gran Torino, Gigantomachia proved to be able to create an enormous hole in a mountainside, causing Gran Torino to deem him a walking disaster. With a simple hammer fist punch, he can strike the ground hard enough to pulverize the landscape around him and destroy nearby buildings. Despite his gargantuan build, Gigantomachia has tremendous speed, enough to rip the trees out of the ground as he runs past them. He can run at least up to 100 km per hour, and his body and skin are extremely thick, taking virtually no damage from attacks, as he was unscathed from the League of Villains' consecutive onslaughts. And he could also fight his way through a large quantity of the Meta Liberation Army unharmed in spite of being flanked from all sides. He can also imitate continuous assaults for a full 48 hours and 44 minutes without rest, but he can resume his onrushes after getting only 3 hours of sleep. Even after being subjected to a powerful sedative, he was able to remain at full power for quite some time. He also has highly developed senses of hearing and smell. His senses are potent to where he cannot be caught by surprise, even whilst he sleeps. And his perception is powerful enough to allow him to locate Tomura from miles away. Gigantomachia also grows in battle as he fights, allowing him to eventually reach gigantic proportions, where he can fit an entire adult man within his hands and tower over buildings. He can grow to be at least 25 meters in height, and due to Gigantomachia's increased size and strength, a single breath is enough to blow back several UA students and cause severe environmental damage. But Gigantomachia's only known weakness is that he can hardly think for himself. He requires orders from his master in order to carry out a task, but the only known task that he can accomplish without being ordered is to come to his master's aid. Now, according to Dr. Ujiko, Gigantomachia has been modified with several quirks that allow him to act as the perfect bodyguard. His original quirk allows him to convert his morale into physical energy and stamina. His second quirk makes him unable to detect any pain. His third quirk allows him to grow to gigantic sizes the more he is agitated or excited. His fourth quirk provides him with heightened senses of smell and hearing, similar to that of a dog's. Gigantomachia's fifth quirk allows his body to function on very small amounts of nutrition and hydration, allowing him to process without much sleep. His sixth quirk allows his muscles to harden to exceptional levels, and Gigantomachia's seventh quirk allows him to grow mole-like claws from his fingers, spines on his back, and a visor to shield his face, to help him dig through the earth, as well as tear through obstacles such as buildings. All for One gave him this quirk with the purpose to hide underground. So there you have it guys, there's Gigantomachia from My Hero Academia explained. So if you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more lore related content. And let me know if you'd like me to explain more heroes and villains from My Hero Academia. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.